are aware of these terms like a variable, method. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Any one of you, if you have no idea on these terms like variable and method, just let me know. I'll just explain you briefly and then we'll proceed with this identifier concept. And if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me at any time. Okay. Identifier is nothing but it can be defined as simply a name in a Java program. It can be any class name, or it can be any variable name, or it can be a method name. Simply, you can say that a name in a Java program is generally called as an identifier. And when we are writing and when we are declaring any identifier, when we choose any class name or variable name or method name, we need to follow some rules. So first, let us see what are the rules that we need to follow when we are choosing the names for any class name or any method name or any variable name. The first rule is when we are choosing any name, we can use alphabets of uppercase and we can use lowercase, and we can also use digits from 0 to 9. Along with this, all the special symbols are not allowed. Only two special symbols are allowed. One is underscore and the other one is dollar. Only these two special symbols are allowed. We can use uppercase and lowercase alphabets, and we can use digits from 0 to 9, and along with that only two special symbols are allowed, that is like underscore and dollar, but other than that no other special symbols are allowed to use when we are choosing any names in a Java program. And second thing is we can use alphabets as an identifier. We can use alphabets when we choose any name, but generally identifier cannot start with the digits. It can contain digit, but it cannot start with a digit. That's another rule. It cannot start with digit. This is the second rule. And generally there is no length limit. This is not the rule, this is just the convention. Generally there is no length limit when we choose any name, but a maximum of 16 characters is recommended. It's just a convention. This is not a rule. You can choose any lengthy name, but if you do not obey this one, there will not be any compile time error or there will not be any runtime exception, but this is just a convention that everyone follows. Maximum of 15 characters is recommended. And second one is in Java we have hello.
Screen sharing, it's on the top side. Audio screen.
Yeah, I have shared everything. Is there any issue? Hello?
Okay. No, it's like the
No, you're
share your
fine.
screen is there for me. Okay.
Any issues with my audio?
No, sir. For us, we can share the screen too. We have to download the app in the
Download this app.
Yes. You need to download a desktop version. Don't just use only a Citrix version, download the desktop version. It might take some time. Okay, just let me know if you have any other issues. These are the 3 rules. And another one is we have some predefined keywords and reserved words in Java. Generally, reserved words cannot be used as identifiers. We'll discuss in detail in our coming sessions what are the reserved words we have in Java. Reserved words generally cannot be used as identifiers. This is another rule, and we have some predefined classes and interfaces. Predefined class and interface names can be used as identifiers. All the predefined class names and interface also can be used as identifier, but generally this is not recommended. But generally this one is not recommended. And another one is generally identifiers are case sensitive. They are case sensitive. So these are the things we should understand about identifier concept. The first thing is when you choose any name, if you want to choose any class name or any variable name or any method name, these are the rules we need to follow. And in these pure conventions, this one is a convention and this one is also a convention. If we do not obey these two, generally there will not be any compile time error. But if you don't obey the other rules, your program is failed to compile. The first rule is identifier generally can contain uppercase and lowercase alphabets, and it can contain digits from 0 to 9, but only 2 special symbols are allowed, like underscore and dollar. Other than that, no other special symbols are allowed. And another one is identifier cannot start with a decimal. And there is no length limit for declaring an identifier, but a maximum of 15 characters is recommended. And we have some reserved words. We have different data types in Java, and for every data type there is some reserved word, and we have a few other reserved words in Java. These reserved words cannot be used as identifiers. And we have some predefined classes. String is one predefined class, and system is another predefined class, integer is another predefined class, and we have some predefined interfaces like runnable, clonable. All these names can be used as identifiers, but generally this is not recommended to use. And if you do not obey this, there will not be any compile time error, but this is the convention that everyone follows. And another one is identifiers. Identifiers are generally case sensitive. So these are the things about identifier. So to understand this in detail, so let's take some simple examples. So in this example, I have chosen the class name as test. Test is my class name, and I'm going to declare one variable int data, and I'm going to initialize this as 100, and I'll define some predefined method. If you don't know about the syntax, how to write a method and how to declare a variable, just forget it. Here one thing you need to understand, this is one identifier, this is a class name, and this is another identifier, this is a variable, and this one is a method. So this one is the method name. So in this example, these three are the identifiers: class name, and this one is the variable name, and this one is the method name. And we need to follow these rules when we choose the names of the class, variable and method. Suppose if I choose my class name as test2 Java, I have changed my class name as test2 Java. Now let's compile and execute this one. Can you guess, is this the proper name? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I don't think that program is going to compile because the name is pretty different there, right? The class name is.
Okay, can you tell me what's the reason behind that? Why it's not going to compile?
I think the class name needs to be matched with the program name, right?
No, that is, yeah, of course, there is a rule based on that concept. Only if you declare the class as public, then only it's not allowed. If the class is not public, you can choose any name. If the class is not public, then the file name and the class name need not match. That concept we will discuss when we discuss the concept of source file declaration rules. After completing some of basic concepts, we will discuss about that.
Okay.
That's the other rule, and that is not related to this identifier concept. An identifier is related to only the names that we choose in a Java program. Of the Java program, here the class name is test2 Java, the variable name is data, and my user defined name is show. Is there any error? Okay, let's compile and execute this one first. I'm going to compile this. So there is no compile time error, and the class file is also generated with the name test2 Java. And now let's execute this. So we are able to compile and we are able to execute this. I have chosen the class name as test2 Java, so this is fine. And if I choose the variable name as is this the valid variable name?
Yes.
This is a valid variable name because we can use underscore symbol. Only two special symbols are allowed, that is underscore and dollar. Other than that, no other special symbols are allowed. And I'm going to declare a few more variables like this. And I have declared here another variable with this name. Is this a valid name?
Yes.
We can't have at the rate of.
Yeah. At the rate is a special symbol, so this is not allowed. Only two special symbols like underscore and dollar, only these two are allowed. At the rate is a special symbol. This special symbol is not allowed. Let's check what will be the error if you compile this. So it says illegal start of type. So it is showing error at line number 7, and here it is showing arrow mark here because at the rate symbol is not allowed when you declare any variable name. And suppose is this a valid name? I'm copying the error also here so that when I share the example, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. Is this a valid name?
No, dollar symbol should not be used.
This is valid because
I think dollar can be used.
Dollar can be used. Only underscore and dollar. Only these two special symbols are allowed. Other than that, no other special symbols like at the rate, hash, percentage, ampersand, star. All these special symbols are not allowed. Only underscore and dollar. Only this one is allowed. Now this will compile properly, and we can execute also. Suppose if I just choose a name, is this valid?
Yes.
No, it should not start with a
No,
digit.
it should not start with 2.
Not start with the digit. So this is invalid.
Mm-hmm.
So it again says identifier expected. So this one is invalid. I'm copying the error also. So just try to remember the error statement also, so that that will be easy for you to debug when you start writing your programs. Instead of this, if I declare like this, is this valid?
Yes.
Yes, it's valid.
It can contain this. This is applicable not just only for a variable, for the class name and for any other method names also, the same rules are applicable. I have chosen the name as test2 Java, but if I choose the name as to test Java, is that valid? I have chosen the class name as to test Java. Is this valid?
No.
Okay, reason?
It should not start with a digit.
So these rules are applicable not just only for a variable, these rules are applicable for a class also. For a class name and for a variable name also, the same rules are applicable. So it again says identifier expected. So this is also invalid. And for variable also. So this is a valid method name. You can compile and execute. But if you choose the method name as, if you add digit at the beginning, this is invalid. So it says invalid method declaration return type required, and it shows identifier expected. The same rules are applicable for method name and for a variable name and for class names also. And suppose if I declare the variable name itself as a short, is that valid? Any one of you have idea on different data types? The people who have basic idea on different data types in Java can guess the answer for this. Any one of you have basic idea on different data types? Okay, this is invalid because short is one of the data type name and this one is a reserved word in Java. I have chosen the variable name itself as a reserved word. Generally that is invalid. So it says identifier expected and legal start of type. This is invalid. And after typing anything, if the color changes to this, then that's a predefined keyword or reserved word in Java. So if you see class, int, double, void, public, static, So these color is in so if the color is this one, then that's a predefined keyword or reserved word in Java, and we cannot use them as an identifier. We cannot use the name for any class or any variable or any method. That's another rule. And we have some predefined classes, like the string is a predefined class. Here the string is a predefined class. And we have a system class, integer, we have thread class, we have different predefined classes in Java. The predefined class names and interface names can be used as identifiers. Notepad++, it will show you only the reserved words. It will not show you the predefined class name. And if you want to know, after typing the word, whether that's a predefined class or interface or not, you can just open that with Edit+. If you open that Edit+, if you see anything in the red color, that's a predefined class in Java. In this example, if you see, system is a predefined class, string is a predefined class. And here also all the keywords and reserved words are in blue color. And if you see something in double quotes, that's a string. And all other user-defined classes and variables and other things are in black color. After typing any word, if that turns into red when you use Edit+, that's a predefined class. It will not show you with Notepad++, but if you use Edit+ editor, that will turn into red color if it's a predefined class. Suppose if I type integer, then that turned into red color. This is a predefined class. And thread, that's a predefined class. And say character, this is a predefined class. We can use this predefined classes and interfaces. Runnable is a predefined interface. And that also turned into red color. All the predefined classes and interface names will be shown in red color when you use Edit+, and these names can be used as identifiers. If you want to choose a variable name itself as a string, generally that is valid. I want to declare a variable with the name string, and I'm going to initialize its value as 500. This is valid. And here this one is turned into red color. Here the variable name itself is string, and this is valid. Now let's compile and execute this. So this is valid. And the last one is identifiers are generally case sensitive. I have declared one variable, and I'm going to declare another variable with a different value. And these two will be treated as two different variables, even if the characters in these two variables are same, but the character case is different, so these two will be treated as two different variables. That means identifiers are case sensitive. But if you
explain, can you explain once again of why string can be accepted as an identifier?
Yeah, it can be accepted as an identifier. This is not the rule, this is just a convention, but generally this is not recommended to you.
Okay.
Not just only string, anything. All other predefined class names and interface names can be used as identifiers, but it's not recommended to use.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
I think we have discussed example for all the scenarios, right? Yeah, we have covered everything. Then let's discuss about data types. Any one of you have any idea on data types? Basically, Java contains two different categories of data types. One is primitive and other one is non-primitive. One is primitive data type and the other one is a non-primitive data type. So primitive data type is nothing but to represent different data types, like to represent numbers, to represent a decimal value, or if you just want to save a simple character, or you just want to save some flag values like either true or false. So for this we have different data types called primitives. And if you want to declare a primitive data type, for every primitive data type there is a reserved word allocated. You can just represent that reserved word and you can just declare a variable and you can assign that value. And non-primitive data type is nothing but, this is generally called as object or reference data type. These are applicable only for the classes and interfaces. And if you want to declare non-primitive data types, that is object or reference data type, you should create object for that particular class using new keyword. Using new keyword, you need to create object for the particular class. It can be either predefined or user-defined. It need not be only predefined, it can be predefined or user-defined also. So here in this simple example, I have chosen the class name as test2 Java, and if you want to create object for this class, so later on we will discuss how to create object for any class using new keyword. So for that we need to understand a few more basic things. That means object or reference data types. So these are applicable only for the predefined or user-defined classes or interfaces. And to declare this non-primitive data types, we use the keyword new. And some of the examples of non-primitive data types are arrays, string. So these are some of the examples. And like all the predefined and user-defined class objects also will come under the non-primitive data types, and we'll discuss about non-primitive data types later. So later on we will discuss about this arrays and strings, and first we will discuss how many primitive data types we have. Any idea how many primitive data types we have? And primitive data types are again categorized into two parts. One is integral and second one is non-integral. In integral, we have four different data types. All the integral data types are used to represent the numbers, and to represent numbers we have four data types. One is byte, and this is the keyword that we use to declare the particular variable. The keyword that we use to declare the particular data type is also the same, byte, and a short data type, and then int, and then long. We have these four data types represent only the numbers. To represent only numbers, we have four data types, and in non-integral category we have four more data types. One is float and the other one is double, and we have char and boolean. We have these four different non-integral data types. Among these four, the first two, float and double. So these two are used to represent the floating point numbers. To represent the decimal values, we use to save floating point numbers, we can use either float or double, and char is generally used to represent only a single character. If you just want to save a single character in any variable, then we use char. And boolean, so this is nothing but flag value. If you just want to save either true or false, you can use boolean data type. In a boolean variable, we can save only these two values, either true or false. And when we save the value, the word should be only this. The word should be either true or false, and all the letters should be in lowercase. And let's come to integral data types. Integral data types are generally used to represent numbers, but why we need 4 different data types only to represent numbers? Why can't we have just one data type to represent numbers? Why 4 data types are defined in Java only to represent numbers? Any idea? Any one of you? Okay. The basic difference between these 4 data types is the range that they support and the memory that will be allocated for the particular data type. If you want to save some small numbers, then you can simply go for byte. And if you want to save some lengthy numbers, like if you want to calculate the distance between sun and moon, so that will be a very large number. To save that kind of values, you can go for long data type. And if you just want to save a number just less than 130, you can just go for byte. And the memory also, the memory that is allocated for byte is also very less when compared to all the other data types. So among these 4 data types, the difference is the memory that will be allocated for the particular data type and the range that the corresponding data type supports. And for byte, this is the range. It is minus 128 to 127. Not just only positive numbers, we can also save negative numbers also. In this integral data types, we can save negative numbers also. And generally, this range will be represented like this: minus 2 power 7 to 2 power 7 minus 1. So this is the way to represent the range. And the range of byte is only minus 128 and 127. Minus 128 to 127. Suppose if you want to assign the number 130 in byte data type, that is invalid, because the maximum value that is supported by byte data type is just only 127. You cannot assign a value more than this, and you can assign negative values also for all integral data types, and the minimum value that you can save in a byte variable is minus 128. And short, the range can be represented like this: minus 2 power 15 to 2 power 15 minus 1. And for int, the range is represented like this: minus 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1. So this is the minimum and the maximum ranges that is supported by int. And for long, is minus 2 power 63 to 2 power 63 minus 1. So this is the range that we can represent for these different data types. And for short data type, this number can be minus 32768 to 32767. So this is the minimum and the maximum range, and the minimum and the maximum range for int and long is some lengthy number. So if you want to know the exact value, so you can just check with the calculator. This is the minimum value and this is the maximum value: 2 power 31 minus 1. And the minimum and the maximum value that you can save in a long data type is minus 2 power 63 is the minimum value, and 2 power 63 minus 1. So this is the maximum value that you can save in a long data type. And also you should know how much memory will be allocated for these data types. For byte, 8 bits, and for short 16 bits, and for int 32 bits, and for long 64 bits, float again 32 bits, and double 64 bits. For char 16 bits, and then for boolean again 8 bits. So this is the memory that will be allocated for different types of data types. For byte, only 8 bits of memory will be allocated. For short, only 16 bits. For int, 32 bits, and for long, 64 bits of memory will be allocated. And when you want to save the corresponding value, if you declare a variable as byte, and when you assign a value for a byte variable, the minimum value that you can assign is minus 128, and the maximum value that you can assign is just 127. And when you declare a long variable, this is the simple syntax. You can just use the keyword long and just mention the variable name. And when you assign a value for a long data type, generally we mention the letter capital L. This is not mandatory, but we can mention the letter as L, so that indicates that that's a long variable. But when you declare float, when you declare a float variable and when you assign a value for a float variable, it's mandatory to mention the letter F. If you declare a variable as float and when you assign a value for that, if you do not mention the letter F, then that will give a compile time error. And for double, you need not to mention. To declare a double, you need not to mention anything. But when you declare a variable as float and when you assign a value for a float variable, after mentioning the decimal value, it's mandatory to mention the letter F. And in all integral data types, the default one is int. That means if you don't mention the data type and if you just want to save some number, or if you send these data types as a method parameter, if you don't mention the data type, then by default it will be chosen as an int data type. And among float and double, the default one is double. And for all these data types, there is some default values. That means if you just declare a variable and if you don't assign any value for that, then some default values will be automatically allocated. And the default value for all the integral types is 0. For byte, short, int and long, the default value is 0. And for float it is 0.0f. For double it is 0.0. And for a character it is just empty space. That means if you just declare a char variable and if you don't assign any value for that, just an empty space will be saved in that variable. And the default value for boolean is false. If you just declare a boolean variable, if you don't assign any value for boolean data type, automatically false will be saved in that particular variable. So this is about different data types. You have any questions in this? Any one of you have any question? Hello?
No.
Hello? Yeah. Any questions? Okay, and to declare all the data types, these are the keywords that we use: byte, short, int, long, float, double, char and boolean. So now we have learned totally 8 reserved words, and there are a few more reserved words we'll be discussing in our coming sessions slowly. These are all the reserved words. And when you declare any identifier, when you choose any name, you cannot use any of these words as identifiers, because these 8 are the reserved words. You cannot use them as an identifier. Now let's see some basic example for this. I have defined simple class and I'm going to declare different variables. First, let's see what will be the default values. I'm just declaring the variables. I'm not assigning any values. So let's see what value will be saved in that particular variable. Int long then float, then double, then char, then boolean. So I had just declared variables, but I haven't assigned any value for them. Now let's see what values will be saved in these particular data types, and I'm writing a simple method. And in this method, I'm going to print these values. So this program will show you all the default values for this particular data types. And I'm going to print the default values for all the other. For short, and then int, then long, float, double, char, and boolean. Now let's print this. And now to print this, this is the syntax. First we need to create an object for this class. So later on we will discuss about this syntax in detail, how I'm going to call this method and the way that we create object for this. Later on we'll discuss in detail about this syntax. But in this example, just understand only one thing. What will be the default values for different data types? Now I'm going to execute this one. For all the integral data types, for byte, short, int, and long, for all these, the default value is 0. Float, it is 0.0. Double, 0.0. For char, you cannot see the output because it's just an empty space. When you append this char to any other variable, then you can see the difference. And the default value for boolean is false. Now let's take another example and let's see how we can assign values for them. Now let's assign value for a byte variable. I just assigned value as 120. Is this valid?
Yes.
The value that we have assigned for this byte is within the range of byte, so this is valid. And we can also assign negative values too. And I'm going to assign the value as minus 120. So this one is also valid. We can assign both positive and negative values also. And if I assign the value as 127, this one is also valid. And you can run that value. But if you assign the value as plus 128, now let's see. It says incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to byte. Can you guess what will be the reason for this error? This is invalid. Can you guess what will be the reason? I have assigned the value as 128.
The value.
The range of byte is from minus 128 to 127.
Yeah. So the range, this value is out of range. So by default, it is treating as int, because here why you are getting this message, possible lossy conversions from int to byte. So here why the concept of int is coming? That is because for all the integral data types, the default value is int. By default, it will be treated as int data type. If the value that we have assigned is not within the range, then by default that will be treated as int, but int cannot be converted to byte. So that's the reason behind this error. And let's see for short. I have assigned a value as minus 30,000. This is valid. This is valid. And minus 32768. We have executed the first example. This is valid if you assign the value as 32767. This is valid if you assign the value as 32768. Now we'll get the error again, and it says incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from int to short. So this is error. So because this value is out of range. And let's see. The maximum range of int and long is very big values. So it says integer number too large. You can just check for the exact minimum and maximum values for int and long. And for long data type, we can assign this lengthy number. And you can add some more digits also. And generally this is the convention that we follow when we assign value for a long data type. We mention the letter F, letter L. You can mention either lowercase or uppercase. This one is also so this is the value for long. And when you assign value for a float variable, if you ignore the letter F, if you don't write the letter F, let's see what's the error we get. So it says incompatible types, possible lossy conversion from double to float. This is because for a decimal value, the default one is double. But you cannot save a double value in float. So that's why when you declare a float variable, it's mandatory to mention the letter F. Then only that will be treated as a float variable. Otherwise, that will be treated as double. For float, mentioning the letter F is mandatory, but for double, it's not mandatory. So this is for double. And for char, when you assign a value for a character variable, generally we mention the character in single quotes. This is the syntax that we follow. You can mention any special symbol or alphabet, anything can be mentioned. And one more important point we should know about char, that is when you assign value for a character variable, you can assign a value in the form of Unicode also. Every character will have some specific Unicode. Every character. If you see in this link, I am sharing this link in chat. You can check with this. I think there is some problem with this window. I am not able to access attendees list and chat window also. Okay, later on I'll send you this link through mail. In this link, you can check the Unicode for every character. If you check the Unicode for uppercase letter W, so it's showing U plus 0057. So generally, the Unicode of this character will be represented like this. I'm going to define another char variable, say char ch2, and I'm going to assign the value like this, /u. Suppose if you want to save the letter W, it is showing that Unicode as U plus 0057. So when you assign a value, just assign a value like this /U0057, and if you print this value of this variable ch2, then it will print the character W. We can mention the character directly, or otherwise we can mention the corresponding Unicode of that particular character also. Every character will have a specific Unicode, and you can check the Unicode value for all the characters in this link. Now just print the value of CH and CH2. If you observe, the value of CH2 is W. And for a Boolean value, you can just mention only two values, either true or false. And when you assign a value for that, the word should be only true or false. And all the letters should be in lowercase. And the default value for Boolean is false. If you don't assign any value, then by default false will be saved. And suppose other than the word true or false, if you try to assign anything else, then that is invalid. Suppose if you just want to save any word like just like this is invalid. This is invalid. Or else true, if you save with different, if one of the character case is different, you are saving the word true only, but you are just changing the character case. This is also invalid. This one is also invalid. It says cannot find symbol. So when you assign a value for a Boolean variable, you can save only these two words, that is either true or false, and all the letters should be in lowercase. So this is about the primitive data types. You have any questions? You have any questions in this?
Ma'am, can we declare the byte value in, the range of byte value in short or anything?
You want to save 125 in short?
Yes.
That is valid. It's valid. But generally, if it is smaller number and if you are saving this in short, it will allocate only some memory. But if you declare anything as short, then totally 16 bits will be allocated. But the remaining memory will be wasted. You can declare it, but the best practice is to declare in a byte variable. You can save that in short also. You can save this in, you can save the same number in int and long also. But if you declare it in a byte variable, you can save some memory. That's the best practice to do. But of course, nowadays byte and short are not used generally. Int is the mostly used data type, int. And if you want to save some lengthy numbers, then you go for long. Int is the mostly used data type for integrals. You have any more questions? Any one of you? Are you able to understand everything? These are all the fundamentals. It takes 1 week time to complete these fundamentals. So till that time, a few concepts will be interrelated. When I'm write something in these programs, you might not understand the complete syntax, but just understand only the points that are related to the particular subtopic. Ignore the other things. So those things you will understand slowly after completing a few more sessions. Okay, any one of you have any more questions? Okay, we have completed total 3 sessions, right? So all of you, please give your confirmation whether you are going to continue for this training or not. And tomorrow onwards, we are going to plan the sessions strictly. Okay, anything else you want to discuss regarding further classes or further training or regarding syllabus? Anything else you want to discuss, any one of you? And one more thing, please be more interactive. Even while teaching, I might ask you something. And if you have any questions, you are free to interrupt me at any time. If you are more interactive, you can learn more. Okay, no questions? Okay, I'm ending the session for today, and please give all of your confirmation whether you are going to enroll for the complete training or not. Okay then, I'm ending the session today. Let's continue tomorrow. Thanks everyone.